Today, we're diving into the story of one of history's most fascinating and, honestly, forward-thinking rulers, the Mughal Emperor Akbar. We're going to look at his incredible attempt to unite a massive, diverse empire, not with force, but with an idea of religious harmony.
I mean, think about it for a second. It's a question that leaders have wrestled with forever, right? And for Akbar, this wasn't some abstract philosophical problem. It was the central challenge of his entire reign. How do you govern a sprawling empire without it just tearing itself apart over what people believe? So let's paint the picture. We're in the 16th century. The year is 1556. The Mughal Empire, which is an Islamic dynasty, is really hitting its stride. It stretches across almost the entire Indian subcontinent. We're talking about a huge territory, home to this incredible mix of cultures, languages, and of course, faiths.
Now, when the young Akbar comes to the throne, he basically inherits this classic imperial problem. It's a dilemma that had brought down many, many rulers before him.
And here's the heart of it. The Mughals were Muslims, but the vast majority of the people they ruled were not. They were Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, and followers of all sorts of other faiths. You just can't rule a population like that by force alone for long. It's just not sustainable. Akbar knew he had to find a different way.
So who was this guy really? What made him so different? Well, Akbar wasn't just another military general. He was a deep thinker, and his entire worldview was shaped by the really unique and complex world he grew up in.
You see, Akbar's mind was this kind of melting pot of different ideas. He was naturally super curious, always asking questions. He was also deeply influenced by the tolerant, mystical side of Islam known as Sufism. Add to that the more progressive ideas from his Shia advisors and his genuinely close friendships with Hindu leaders and thinkers, you get a very unique perspective. And all of these influences led him to this really radical conclusion for a 16th century monarch. He came to believe that his job wasn't to be a king just for Muslims. No, as the source material puts it, he saw himself as a leader for all people. That single idea was revolutionary, and it would become the bedrock of his entire government.
Okay, so that's the philosophy. But how do you actually turn a personal belief like that into state policy? Well, Akbar developed a framework for it, something that he called his peace with all policy. He called it Sulh-i-Kul, which translates to peace with all. And this wasn't just some catchy slogan, it was official state doctrine. What did it mean in practice? Well, for one thing, he got rid of the jizya, which was this long-standing tax specifically for non-Muslims. The deal was simple. As long as your community was peaceful and loyal to the empire, your beliefs were your own business. Justice and security were for everyone, period.
But this peace with all policy wasn't just about passive tolerance, like live and let live. No, it was an active search for understanding. And that's what led him in 1575 to create one of the most amazing places of its time, the Ibadat-Khana, or the House of Worship.
And the guest list for the weekly debates he held there, it was just astounding. He brought in Sunni and Shia Muslims to debate each other, Hindu scholars, Jain monks, Zoroastrian priests, even Christian missionaries all the way from Europe. And get this, in a truly radical move for the 16th century, he even invited atheists. Can you imagine? This wasn't about him trying to prove one religion was right. He was genuinely trying to find the common truths that he believed existed in all of them. So this decades-long spiritual quest, all these debates and discussions, they all led Akbar to his most radical, and for some, his most controversial project ever.
He created something he called Din-e-Ilahi, or the divine faith. Now, it's really important to understand this was never meant to replace Islam or Hinduism or anything else. It was more of a syncretic spiritual path, an ethical system that tried to blend what he saw as the very best parts of all the religions he'd spent years studying. In the end, it was less like a new religion and more like a philosophical order, with Akbar himself as a sort of spiritual guide. It never really had more than a handful of followers, mostly just people in his inner circle, because it was never designed for the masses. This was the ultimate expression of his very personal search for a universal truth that could unite his diverse court.
And while Din-e-Ilahi pretty much faded away after Akbar's death, the principles and the ideas behind it, well, they left a really powerful and lasting legacy.
See, Akbar's greatest achievement wasn't creating a new religion. It was creating a new philosophy of how to govern. He was one of the first major rulers to make religious tolerance the official fundamental policy of a powerful state. He argued that the true strength of an empire didn't come from forcing one faith on everyone, but from protecting them all.
And that really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
In our world today, which is still so full of religious conflict and division, is there something we can learn from an emperor who almost half a millennium ago decided his mission was simply peace with all?